Your meeting is live, and I'm gonna continue to look for my notes or something.
Make it up.
It's worked so far.
Crushing it.
Do you guys want to take a minute to read
Yeah.
the
I
minute?
wasn't here, was I?
You were not, but you did contribute. You were quoted in there a couple
Yeah.
of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for emailing.
Yeah,
Oh, your
I wasn't
thoughts?
able to.
Kyle and Ann. I like your consolidated. Mike's consolidated. Like Mike gets a printout, which is, we're like, oh, sweet, this is super nice, and then yours is like, and even more consolidated.
Mike's doing good things. That's the note.
Yeah.
I don't have it printed out.
You don't have one printed out today?
That's okay.
I'm
Dude.
gonna have to take notes then?
Oh, trust me, he's got plenty to deal with right now.
Busy.
All right, hang on, let me put this stuff away so I
Sorry,
don't
have
get.
I
Is there anything specifically that council had for me or wanted of me?
Just your spot.
That's your spot.
You may have my spot.
Yeah, no, I think we are.
You can use the
Okay,
chair.
we're done with land use, we are
I'll
now
use the
public
chair
works.
as a resting.
I'm a
Take
little
it.
cool. I'm gonna run home and grab a jacket. Yeah.
Is that sarcasm? Please tell me that's sarcasm.
Okay,
All right, yeah, looks good. Good job.
I will let you guys vote on that, just as I was not in the room, so.
Did I put you down as abstain?
Abstain. I will approve, move to approve. Motion made by Daniel.
Seconded by Keith.
There we go. See, it's
Sure.
already there.
All right, it's already written that way?
Yep.
Okay,
Just grabbing some water.
okay.
You just lost. Wait, this one's Dave, this one's yours. I'm for Dave. All right.
What do you guys think about maybe moving the order of this a little bit, so,
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
we can
Alan
do,
and Corey and
totally.
Ann?
Get in there.
Yeah, okay. So Alan, I have you down to talk about the solar proposal at the restrooms and a solar carport for EV chargers. Do you wanna?
I even took a picture of that in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
They were carports with the
Yeah.
chargers. And my husband was like, why are you taking a picture of this? I was like, trust me, trust me on this.
Here's like my.
Mike, we're
very
gonna switch
artistic-
the order a little bit,
Oh,
so these guys,
Here, well, let me see if I
if
can
they don't
find
wanna
this one.
attend the whole, I mean, please do stay for the whole meeting, but if you don't want to.
I only printed, I printed
We'll,
one.
we'll share,
short-
yeah,
we're
we
fine.
can share.
Hey, Mike.
Hit it.
Hey, yeah.
Hey,
Hey, Chelsea. So this is
That's
basically.
cool.
I should have been an artist. And
Those are a lot
updated
nicer than
proposal
what-
based, on some feedback from, a couple of weeks ago. And, this is basically instead of, ground mount solar, to supply 100% of the electricity consumed by the public EV charging stations,
Mm-hmm.
something which would be functional and actually take out the, visibility of the panels would be a carport. And, we could easily fit, the 20 or so solar panels, which would be required to meet that 8,000 kilowatt hours per year, generation, with a carport which would only cover like 3 parking spots. Of course, we could cover 4, and that'd probably be, even better for people who are using it. Spoiler alert, I talked to Mick at Back Alley Metals, and, he said, oh, yeah, we can do carports, that's not a big thing at all. They actually had considered, how to do so, for one of the proposals at the Roosevelt Center.
Okay.
And so he said, oh, yeah, and it's easy to mount on that asphalt, and it could simply be the
Yeah.
4 poles with crossbars, and then mount the solar panels on top to serve as the roof, which would be pretty cool. And also, Mick had the forethought to say, and we could do bolt-on poles in case or when a trailer or a
You need to move.
snowplow or a car back into one of the poles. And he said, oh yeah, unclip it and unbolt it and bolt it back in. And he said certainly less than $10,000. So that would be
Does that end?
the first
Oh,
permutation
wait, no,
from
that's not for
a
something else.
couple weeks ago.
I like it.
And then for the second thing, nearly inconspicuous, I had to put a red arrow on there so you could see, we could fit 8 or so solar panels on the south-facing roof of the public restrooms.
That's a good art, I like that one.
It's like a blob,
Yeah.
black blob.
Man, I missed my calling for sure. And so that's like maybe about a third of the production, and the consumption, as for the nearby EV, charging station. But also that would cover the 2,700 or so kilowatt hours per year, and would be practically unnoticeable. So why would we do this? It would save the city about $1,300 of energy per year at those 2 cents, and so that's based on 12 cents per kilowatt hours. And so that it can fluctuate, but that's taking into account that there are some fixed costs which are not going to go down with the city's power bill when you take away the electricity needs. We would be able to continue to provide free public EV charging access, and I think, I just want to talk a second about that. You know, there's small online communities where people talk about the quality and upside and downside of charging stations, and Trey online says of our public restrooms there, delightful restrooms, nearby cafes, restaurants, bistros, a historical museum, and a library, and a park, of course. And so we could also, if we wanted to kind of, you know, shine the optics, there's already, as you can see in that second picture there, the educational sign about what are EVs and what are EV chargers, because we were, you know, 2016, this was one of the first, and it's a great charging station. And we could put up another sign if we wanted to about driving on sunlight, yada, yada, right next to the donation box there. Provide shelter over the 4 parking spots, which is actually not a small thing. And going back, in 2016, those chargers were put up. The city did actually plan to install solar panels to provide the energy, so kind of fulfilling our original goals back 8 years ago. The city has adopted an updated version of the Energy Conservation Plan about a year ago, and this would go towards fulfilling those goals. And lastly, and I think it sounds great, is it'd be growing our energy self-sufficiency. So the financials, you guys probably heard me talk about this a little bit last week, but historically, Northwest Energy grants have provided for 90%, 90, of the cost of solar projects, and so that brings it down by a factor of 10. And then there's the federal direct pay tax credit, which would take off 30% of the 10% that the city would charge, so we're talking literally 7 pennies on the dollar. And we talked about the possibility of any sustainability board funds in the future could drop that down by another 30% or so. And so anyway, long story short, we're talking a year and 8 months of payback period. So specifically, $1,284 per year of savings and $2,100 or so upfront cost to the city. So I hope this meets with. Is this something you guys find interesting?
Yeah.
No, thank you
Thanks
for,
getting
I think-
involved.
I like the
My
idea
notes
of the
are gonna be
carport and on top of the bathrooms. I think that's just a
Mhm.
lot more appealing, and again, it serves a second purpose. Like,
right, multi-purpose, that's where I'm huge on that, like, just having the standalones were kind of questionable, but I like that you were able to come up with this.
Yeah.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
Then does it have to, does Public Works write a resolution so that we can apply for this grant?
Is that what you need us to do?
Yeah, I think we need to have it, we need to, it has to be approved by,
Yeah, it has to be approved by council.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
resolution.
So, yep, no, I think that's
Put that
what
on
we
your
can do.
list of things to do if you approve.
Sounds good.
I had a couple things. I know last week we talked, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about, the meter
Oh,
on the
yeah.
bathroom being a separate meter, and so we could, there was some
I
problem with,
think that what you're proposing, we don't need to separate them.
That's right.
We wouldn't have
And
to
if
separate
we-
them again?
Yeah.
If
And to be
that
honest,
changes, I think,
Or to
I
combine?
talked to Mike at Northwest Energy about it, and he was supposed to get back to me, but he didn't. He was gonna go down and look, but on the initial conversation, he didn't think it'd be, we wanted to combine them, it wouldn't be a big deal, and it may be worth doing anyway, because we pay I think there's like a $6 meter fee, say we make all our power.
Well, weren't you worried about
Still
where it was
pay.
all coming from too? And this would consolidate it down on your budget, but.
Yeah, cause we pay a $26
Mhm.
supply fee that we're gonna pay even if we don't use any of their power. We have a meter fee, so if we, there's advantages to combining them, so
Okay.
I'm gonna follow up with him on
Okay.
that and see what the
That-
cost would be.
So we could potentially run the rink lights,
What's that?
we could potentially run the ice rink lights
I don't-
off of that.
I don't-
if it's-
That's a separate meter.
That-
Oh my
that's-
God, how many
what
meters do we have?
well,
That's what he's
that-
saying, is to combine them all.
But that one's all the way, I believe that meter,
On the opposite side of
the
Lions.
opposite
Yeah.
side of the lines,
What if
I
we put
don't,
up another awning over there?
I don't think we're gonna run that one.
Okay.
But just logistically, we tear up sprinklers and
Okay.
everything trying to get there.
Gotcha. And I have two other questions. One is, so if this is just a flat awning, basically, and is there any advantage to tilting it south?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my first question.
Yes, or is
The one
this just the
you
drawing
sent
that
me,
you,
The prefab one for
Yeah.
$8,500, the
Mhm.
four, I think it was a 3 or 4 car
I think I
one.
deleted it.
That had
They're typically
planet
angled.
panels, and that's
Yeah.
gonna work better for the snow,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
so,
And the,
and for the sun, so.
And then is there, my second question is, I have concerns about these little poles. And I know that's just your drawing, but, you know, people hitting those, and I'm wondering if we could do like cross bracing this
Yeah,
way,
and
instead of
that's-
having 4 poles have somehow, I don't know if that would work, but maybe not these poles out here.
I
There's-
think it's gonna have
So,
to have
this
poles
is the
up
picture
there.
I took driving really fast down an interstate
Oh,
of the carports with their, with all the solar panels on them.
That one you sent me a picture of looked pretty
I see
slick.
that.
mhm.
I mean, it was.
I mean, like I said, Rob was not gonna
Look
slow
good,
down on the
look
interstate for
good,
me. Yeah,
you know.
exactly. But,
I mean, does anybody else have concerns about
I don't, but like my thing is,
somebody backing into it?
based off of how it would be put into the ground, it actually makes it seem like if needed, like if we needed to move it for repaving or something like that, we could. And then also.
Well, yeah, Nick was making it sound like if
If one,
you were
someone
able
hit
to
one of those posts,
it'd be
like,
replaceable to
Yeah.
remove it.
yep.
You might
Um,
want something a little decorative on the side
Yeah.
too, to make it, you know, like a sun or a,
Right.
you know, or some sort of a soul or something, so it makes it a little bit more obvious that this is,
I want my picture.
Yeah.
Well, so is it, if somebody hits a pole, is that whole thing gonna come crashing down? My
no,
question.
evidently, like, and Mick even had the forethought to say, like, we can make it bolt on so that
Right,
when one
so
gets
bolt on.
damaged.
It's gonna bend the pole, but it's not gonna like.
Yeah, it's not
So,
gonna crash it,
okay.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
sturdy.
Okay.
Somebody goes through there 75 miles an hour, I mean.
That
Yeah, and if-
answers my
And if someone's going
question.
75 miles an hour through there, we have bigger issues.
2 mile an hour.
Well, it doesn't even, I mean, you know how many people hit buildings and Billings, like every week the paper
But
says.
they're driving Teslas, man, like, you don't wanna run a Tesla into.
I think they're gonna be a little more cautious pulling it, and they're
Put the
probably
bank
already on.
down there.
Rod, go ahead, you had to raise your hand.
Having many years of experience with snow removal,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna have to be all hand dug out underneath that awning in the wintertime.
No, we think we can get our skid steer in there.
You know, it's just,
But it's
but it's gonna be a challenge,
With
plus
the wheel.
the snow shedding off of it.
Right, and that's what I'm wondering, the snow melts.
I'm not against it, I'm just saying, things you wanna think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like my
There would
concern
be
about.
construction pieces for
And if
sure.
there's a pole, it'll get hit. I
Yeah,
guarantee it, go
absolutely.
look at, around the lights in the parking lot of the grocery store.
Yeah.
They've been hit many
You know
times.
what? She's learning how to drive, just give her a minute.
But,
And if that does become too big of a concern, we could do a similar type structure between the two, like the bathroom and the art scale, that's like, almost like a gazebo style, with like hard walls,
Mm-hmm.
and then inside you have sustainability, like educational pamphlets, or a schedule for the ice skating rink. I don't know if that could be just like a little gazebo for shade, and then some education.
Well, that's what I was
materials.
thinking, like another, some sort of awning, just another
Yeah.
sitting area
Yep.
in the shade, undercover for, you know,
Can you,
rainstorm.
can you say that again, a smaller gazebo?
Or not, it doesn't even have to be much smaller, like based off the sizes I'm seeing here, you could probably fit it between the two. And, but just making it like more of a gazebo style, like a like, almost like a visitor center entry area. And we could even make that like a visitor center with information about Red Lodge, information about sustainability,
Mhm.
like donation box, covered area, like, there's some options for that too, if parking and having it in a parking lot is a concern. But I think that would be more of a question for the ones that have to be shoveling and dealing with it, as well as the ones building it.
So you're saying instead of a
Instead of a
parking area, you're
carport,
Instead of a
thinking like
park, yeah,
moving it
instead
on
of
the
a
grass?
carport, just basically take that same structure and shift it into the grass, and now you have a covered patio.
A covered
Or
patio.
just like a,
Gazebo.
yeah, a little gazebo, a little shaded space with education.
Because over in that park, the gazebo is,
Constantly used.
well, and it's the only structure currently that has coverage, right? Like-
Yeah. So now you'd have one closer to the ice skating rink, again, like, and, you know, for different events that are happening in Lions Park, we were just talking about in our last meeting, there's all sorts of events, people could utilize that space for a little food and beverage table, or, you know, it could be, again, for kegs during tournaments, it could be for just prepping,
Hockey
and,
players
you know,
don't
whatever, like, it has all sorts of things.
I don't drink.
I think the other concern would be the visual impact on the historic train depot. It would be blocking
Hmm?
a view from a certain direction, I mean.
Sure.
it's- I'm not against solar, I have it on my house, so it's, just all those questions of,
Yeah,
I feel like there's,
Charm
I feel like
of
there are a lot of options
area.
though.
yeah.
I like what Roosevelt did. It's recycled, you know, the
Mhm.
lift poles,
Yeah, that was awesome.
and, you know, it's one of a kind.
I just like when
Back out
it's
metal
aesthetically
stuff like
pleasing and it serves a secondary purpose. So, it might just be worth going over there and taking a walk and getting some tape measures.
Yeah, those are awesome. I saw those, just recently, where they took Old Miami Beach full,
Mm-hmm.
lifts, and they chopped them off and did some cool artwork. It looks like the flowers. So, with, the ski area, they're out of, the rest of their, Miami Beach, poles, yeah, which is a shame, because if they had, if they still had some left, we might be having a different, artwork here to look
Right.
at, so conceptual ideas. And, you know, slight tangent, the, Lions Park does use a good chunk of electricity comparable to the EV chargers, so about 3 times the restrooms. Potentially options to generate electricity for that account would be something artistic, but the pole, so you don't have any more poles from the, ski area. Or even across, someone mentioned this the other day, would be to have panels on the gazebo. It has 8 facets and very close measurement. I want to do some more, measurement, but you could maybe fit 3 panels on west, southwest, south, southeast, and east. But it would really change the look of the gazebo, which right now, my daughter says it's old-fashioned and cool looking, so.
Old-fashioned
They
and cool.
definitely would go best on the bathrooms, in my
If
opinion,
you
but,
could create
yeah.
structures that are multi-purpose, not only energy generating, but shade structures for
That's what I-
picnic tables.
Yep.
Because it would be used for not just summer, like, you
Yeah.
know, hockey
They
and,
could be used for vendors,
Yeah.
to be entered during special events and farmers market. There's a whole lot of things that you could do that
Mhm.
would create energy for, sounds like we have 3 things to cover. The lights, the gazebo, the restroom, and the car charger.
And I mean, there's also been conversations of a potential pavilion or ice skating rink permanent structure type thing in Lions Park, just, you know,
we should
like
definitely have solar on
discussions,
it.
which should definitely have solar, but again, I mean, that's something that I think would be really cool to look at in the future, just for not quite, we don't have anyone quite there yet to actually do that massive of a project at this point, I don't think, but it's, I like the idea and the concept of it.
Cool. So how do we want to move on from here?
So I think that we do need to make a resolution to approve applying for the
Yeah.
grant, and then, you know, I think that, do you feel comfortable moving forward? That's all I have.
My only concern, I said this last time, you know, with the recycling, one with Public Works, one with panels of water, wastewater, those are easy to budget, come up with the extra cost.
Yeah.
I don't have a budget for this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't, I mean, that I can pull out. So, you know, and I don't know, maybe we address that somehow, or find another source of money to pay the 1,700 or whatever it is, and the 2,700 and the 3,900. It doesn't fit in water, sewer,
Right,
streets.
right.
Right, that's what we're,
I mean, you may, I don't know about parks, I don't know, that's a little hippie, you know.
you're talking about the 1765?
Well, I think,
I mean, technically.
whatever is our part, I guess. I'm not sure.
1765,
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
correct?
That would be after, if there were $1,000 from Sustainability Board's quote-unquote budget.
Yeah, so that would be almost
Again, I
700.
don't know how that.
So it'd only be
gets paid.
it would only be
No,
No,
700.
that would be down from 2,765 to 1,750.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe parks can do that, but it's, I know, like, we have to be careful using water money to buy asphalt, even though we do, when we tear the road up. But.
I mean, I
but
imagine
money
that could be a
has to
part,
stay in the,
Parks
Because
doesn't
it-
have anything to do with it, though.
Or how about resort tax?
well, again, that's the thing, is resort
I mean,
tax
kinda-
fees
kinda like
other
this weird little
budgets,
entity
not its
out here
own,
that
Yeah.
right?
I
So
don't know
like,
how it fits in, and.
Well, there, I
and
mean,
when it
there
was
is
originally
money in
done,
there for,
I don't think the city put any
things.
money in at all.
right, but they all go into like a
It was all
budget, like again, it's a
into
part
the
separate,
EV
or it's
station.
streets
I don't think
or.
the
Okay.
city
Yeah,
put any
so-
dollars into the original thing,
I believe they did. I'm sure there was a match with Northwest.
but I don't think we,
No, not with
But
the
the city
EV, not with
didn't
the
put
EV,
money.
sorry.
yeah, with the charging station when I first went in, there was no, it didn't come out of any city money. It was all either raised or, I had it, I had the budget, the original budget for it the other day, and it was,
I'll do
but it was
I'll
all,
do a little background on that.
cause I looked
Sure,
at that
what
and
city
say, well, this is where you get money for that, but there wasn't any city money in that.
How hard and fast is this application
yeah, when
has
is
to be
the
for
deadline?
the
Oh,
project?
Application deadline is November 1st.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can have a
we've got,
rough idea what you wanna do, but you can change it up until the day you get it.
Tweak things, I think probably they wanted to see the number of panels, the estimated kilowatt hours production, and the final, budget.
And I think on this one, you know, my only 2 cents is what this ends up looking like and where it's at. I think you'd wanna have, it kind of along the lines of what you're saying, I think you'd wanna have a pretty good rendition and get some comment on it from people, just 'cause,
I
like you
think you
said,
need
it's
the
a.
architecture to kind of go with the depot.
Right,
you're gonna-
Agreed.
I think you're gonna, well, you're gonna hear some opinions on it, and it's probably better to hear them in the beginning than midway through, or.
Agreed.
Is that something that maybe Nick can put together at Back Alley? Sure. You
Yeah,
think
I
so? I'm sure.
I mean, I don't think it'd be that hard to.
well, and
Just
I
on
also think we
computers.
should check in with our guild.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
you
if we
know,
can put something like, hey, this is kind of what we're
You
looking
know,
at.
they might wanna have some sort of input as far as some sort of.
They might have some artistic designs for us.
Exactly.
They might,
Like it.
they might take over the whole design of the gazebo.
Even better.
Corey, did you say you were gonna look at funding from the Parks Board?
No, I'm gonna look at, where the past funding came for the EV chargers.
I feel like
But
that's.
in
The current one.
2016, that was Bill Swayze that wrote
Okay.
that, and he's got all the information.
There's
I
a
think
good,
he's got
there's a good 2-page little
Yeah.
description and budget on it.
Mhm.
I had it, so it's on my desk if I,
Okay,
And,
we'll figure it out.
who's gonna check in with the Arts Guild? Is that Alan?
Want to do the art?
Okay.
Okay.
And then, what do you think we can put this back on the agenda at some point, and when do you think would be a good time to do that, just so I get it on my radar?
Let's do it in
September?
a Couple weeks.
You wanna do an August meeting, September?
Are you gonna be around in August?
The first half.
Yeah, well, let's do it in.
The first meeting in August,
Yeah.
so a month from now?
That'll give us
Too
a
late.
chance to kind of look at budgets. too,
Right, right.
so.
Okay, so that would be the 13th of August. Is our
Thank
is our
you.
first meeting.
Cool.
Okay. All right, thank you. We have a lot of stuff to cover, so if nobody else has anything else, I'll just move on to the next thing, which is the Arbor Day Foundation Grant for 2025. Deadline is mid-January, but, you're giving us plenty of time to
Get it going.
Yes, appreciate
Trying to
that.
improve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, so, the, next Parks Board meeting, Mike, I lied the other day, it's not next week, I guess, it's this week, I don't remember if it's.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday,
Yeah.
yep.
And so I think they're probably the final decision makers in terms of the presenting information to you guys. But after a brief discussion with Roger and consideration of like, other work that was, inadvertently, whatever, required on other parts of the city and public works, things such, a preliminary discussion yesterday was like, hey, the 100 tree distribution to the community seemed to go well. Maybe we would potentially ask, for funds from Arbor Day Foundation. Mid-January is their, early bird application cycle. And zero potentially, trees, for the city to plant. It sounds like we've kind of saturated that anyway.
I don't know where we planted anymore.
Got a lot of them, man.
That's a good problem, I guess.
Yeah.
And then other things which could also potentially benefit the city without undue requirements of work and such would be commissioning a tree survey. The last one was done in 2017, 2018, 2017. And typically every 5 to 10 years, as I understand, is when those happen. Shannon at Arbor Day Foundation seemed receptive to the idea right after the June event. And $15K would be the ballpark budget for that. Another thing which we could potentially ask for, I'll definitely fill this out with the Arbor Day Foundation, would be removal of known dead or dying trees. And, whatever else the city thinks it needs and Arbor Day Foundation thinks it wants to pay for, I think this would be a great time to raise that idea with them because it seems like it went really well just back in mid-June.
Would that tree survey identify the dead or dying
Okay.
trees, or is that something that
Then
we
we can
already
ask them that
know?
the following year.
No, I think it would be, we could look at the 2017 one and see what, that's about, the tree inventories are kind of neat to look at, but really that's about the best use for them. We got a grant one time for removing trees from Arbor Day. They have a program to get rid of ash trees because they want to minimize. We have 70% of our trees were ash, and they're worried about when the board, the Asian weevil comes through.
Just having a
So
monoculture
we were
culture?
able to use the inventory to go out and identify, mature trees that were in poor shape. And then we got a grant to remove all of that.
Huh.
Oh, another idea
And
that
we use
Roger,
that tree inventory for that.
sorry,
Another
another
idea?
idea that Roger had was planting seedlings and stuff along the riverbanks to prevent erosion, et cetera. The whole thing.
Seedlings are much easier than full trees.
I think all the ones we planted over there got blown out during high water this year,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. And then is this, something that is at zero cost to the city?
It was this year,
It was this
and I
year?
got no indication they were ever gonna be asking
Okay.
for a copay.
Okay.
Love that.
At this point, free for you.
Can I give a brief tangent on a different topic? CPRG, you guys remember that?
Yeah.
The EPA says they're gonna be, issuing their decisions this month in July. And the things that, just to kind of put a seed out there, that the Montana DEQ asked for, that they might get money for with unspecified, match requirements, if any, would be, potentially funds for city electric vehicles, schools, and, forest health / fire mitigation. Schools is kind of its own thing. They seem to have a very strong contingent. They speak up for themselves a lot. City EVs, that has been mentioned in prior meetings, and forest health / fire mitigation. If you guys come up with any ideas, I can be more than happy to pursue that once the details come out from the EPA and the Montana DEQ.
Can you ping me when you want it on the agenda, so we can talk about like you have it? That works very well for me. And we have to have, I need by Wednesday morning, like almost a week before. Oh, week.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate your work.
Crushing it.
Cool. We wanna jump to recycling center, first year operations overview. You've already listened to this. I think I might wanna get into the meeting and share my screen. since- Give me a sec here.
Yeah, that's what-
While we're waiting for that, I just want my only, 2 cents that I wanna add, and I'm gonna wait for the, recycling center, operations and update. But at our next sustainability board meeting, which is next Monday, we've invited Ryan, I can't remember his last name, the guy from, Republic,
Yep.
Oh,
okay, to come and
Is
speak
that
with us.
at 4
That's at 4.
on the 15th?
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I think, Mike, you were gonna talk to, you already talked to us.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna send him a reminder, so. when-
Oh, he knows.
Does anybody know
You
how
know,
to
okay,
make this
perfect.
share
No.
screen?
Anyway, so
He's gonna come up earlier, and we're gonna go over some stuff.
perfect.
There should be a,
You have to be one of the
there you go.
presenters.
So it says that I'm blocked from
Yep.
sharing,
So
so.
you have to be one of the presenters.
Oh, I see,
You have to be.
yeah. A co-host?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you say that sustainability is at 4 or 5?
4.
4.
Yeah, we do.
Yep, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right.
There you go.
I'll be there. It's on my calendar.
So, one of the things that we did last year when we looked at having the city take over the recycling center is, you know, we put together a budget, and then, the promise was that we would.
Can I come sit behind you?
Yeah, yeah, please do. You can even use this beautiful black chair.
It's got wheels.
So this is, by the way, just a preliminary,
And it's on that screen too.
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
So one of the promises we made was that we would take a look at, you know, do a review of things after the first year, and maybe potentially even every year. I can't remember exactly, but for sure this year. And so, I just took Lonnie's, basically her, what is it called? Just her detailed ledger, so these are, I still have some questions that need to be answered, but, our funding primarily came from our $6 a month fee, make this a little bit bigger. And so we had budgeted based on, I think, 1,515 households. We obviously had a few more households join, so we got 114,000. And I haven't added in the commercial memberships or the non-city memberships yet, because it's all just, you know, like pages of journal entries, so I don't know which one's which, so I'm gonna have to go to her, but, this total of 148,802, which is in gray there, that's actually how much money we took in for the
Where's
recycling center.
148?
It's
yeah,
It's
it's
grayed out,
very-
sorry, here, let me make it,
Okay, yeah, that's a very light gray.
yeah, it's a very light gray, but
Okay.
148,802, yeah.
Over here.
So, at the moment, we're ahead, we're over our income budget of $16,000, almost $17,000. And then we did have some money come in from metal and aluminum, scrap metal and aluminum. We had anticipated 2,500, but we got 4,000. We had also anticipated getting $2,000 for cardboard, but because recycling, is a commodity in some cases, and in the case of cardboard for sure, it probably cost us this year instead of getting money back for that. So we didn't get anything in from
We
cardboard.
spent 914 to get rid of it.
Sorry, what?
We spent 914
$114.
to get rid of the cardboard.
Yes, exactly, yep, yeah. so then if you go down to expenses, one of our big line items was, personnel. And so this number of 34,991, that represents this, Kyle and the admin cost, in the city offices for that. So we were actually like $13,000 less than budgeted for labor. And, Fairtooth Industry also was significantly lower than budgeted, and part of that was that the contract was not finalized, until the second half of the year. So that probably represents only half a year of Fairtooth Industries. And then we had our materials, we had budgeted a total of $16,100 for transport and processing of, our metal, our glass, our cardboard, plastic, and it ended up being $29,000. And the bulk of that was glass. So $23,408, we had budgeted $12,000. So we talked this morning at admin about, whether, we're fine, overall, we're fine. We took in more than we spent, so everything's good. But in the future, we may want to have a conversation about glass, and if we want to continue taking it and transporting it all the way up to Missoula, it sort of negates the purpose. And we also talked about lowering that $6 a month fee on the water bills, which would probably make a lot of people happy. I'd be sad to not have glass, but at the same time, it does seem like a little bit of a feel-good thing to do. And we didn't budget for e-waste, and we had a $3,100 cost for that. That was not in the original budget.
Yeah, I don't know, pretty close, and like with this year's budget, proposed budget for this year, we don't have any kind of capital outlay in there at all or anything for if a baler breaks or a forklift breaks.
Yep.
And I think we need that,
Mm-hmm.
because something's gonna break.
I'm just gonna make a note.
And I don't know, and Delani and I talked about it today, but,
We do have $500 in equipment repair and maintenance, which this year was used for the heater in there. But yeah, if a
I
baler
think we
breaks,
were just thinking about putting something like 5,000 in there, just
Like a retainer, kind of,
Oh, keep a $5,000 retainer in there?
yeah,
just in case. I mean, that won't cover.
yeah, honestly, I'm impressed that it only cost $198 to fix the heater. I get a lot of bills from Kyle.
He charges me a lot more than that.
It's burned up to you.
Oh.
I don't know what it
It was like,
the one thing we did nail was, baling wire. We budgeted
Nice.
900 and we spent 900.
we got that one.
I bought it all at the beginning of the year, right before the budget was proposed.
No, I think it just came in, there were like 3 different bills for that. The propane was very low.
What was that about?
We budgeted 2,000 and we only spent $100 on that one, 101.
Huh.
And we don't have anything for porta potty rental, and we're not sure where,
Oh, that should be $100 a month.
yeah. So,
Lonnie said she never got a bill.
yeah, so I'm gonna meet, this
Well,
is
it's
again,
probably going to parks. I'll have to ask Dawn where that bill's
Where that-
going.
Next
It's
time.
getting billed, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty sharp.
Just means that it hasn't been
It's
paid.
probably getting billed to a different
Department.
entity. Yeah.
okay. Again, this is preliminary, I wanted you guys to see this,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we can finalize it, I can finalize it for, presenting to the council next meeting. But I wanted you guys to see it and ask questions and poke holes and everything. Yeah, we had forklift maintenance, we didn't spend anything. Plowing was a little bit over. We'll probably need to increase that because we had a very low snow year.
Yeah. So,
Utilities, we were slightly under for Northwest.
And honestly, I was thinking that might be a similar situation.
because it was
It was
a
a
warm,
mellow-
it was a mellow winter.
We didn't, insurance wasn't included, advertising, we haven't done anything of that. Office supplies, this was for a postcard and postage to introduce the program to everybody in the beginning, so that's not gonna be a cost next year. We didn't budget for garbage, That was not in the original budget, but we did have to pay $1,300 for that. There is a lease for the baler, that we didn't budget for, it may have been in something else. That was $4,600.
Is there a reason you lease it when you own two others?
So we need three, because we have one for plastic, one
Right,
for,
but why would you not just own one and not have to pay that reoccurring lease?
that is a good question, probably
What's that?
get
I couldn't hear
the
you.
cost.
And the balers, you have three balers, you own two of them and you're leasing one.
I think technically, I'm not 100% sure on that. I think we might be leasing all three.
No, we own at least one, if
Because
not
one
two.
came in, because I remember that was,
I know we donated one, I don't know if it's still there. But when we
Oh, there-
consolidated the stores, we donated
There's
one.
one down there they don't use, so that might be that one.
Could be.
Kyle told me, I can't remember how that works, you know, he,
No,
I
I think
talked to
the
him.
brown one's the one we don't use, but.
That's probably the one we donated.
and
It'll work out when we lock
Ryan,
it off.
when Ryan's here next week, well, he knows all this off the top of his head.
Okay. So actually, that's a good question for you gals. Is there anything that you'd like us to bring up with him at that meeting next week?
I plan to be there.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Kyle, try to get Kyle here too,
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
4:00 Monday.
yeah, I wrote it down, I'll probably go too.
And the only reason I ask is because we've got a baler at the store.
Mhm.
It was probably put in the mid-eighties, recycled from the IGA store that was there originally. Since '96, when we took over, we've had it worked on once.
Yeah, they're beasts.
So you wanna sell it?
Yeah,
So what you're saying is you're not using it?
Well, no, we use it a lot, but, I'm just saying they're very durable.
Yeah.
And their
Yeah.
maintenance is minimal, so
Yeah, they are.
Do you
their
have
maintenance per year would be much less than,
The rent.
what you're
I've been
leasing.
to replace the hydraulic filter in them before.
Yeah.
That's not cheap.
Is it $5,000?
With that,
Was it $5,000?
it was pretty close.
Yeah.
By the time,
But how often does it go out?
well, that baler was outside.
Yeah.
In the weather, but it happened, seals went out twice in 7 years,
So
so.
it's the environment that it's in more so than, I just
There's
curious.
nothing wrong with budgeting money like that.
That's the other question I'd have
And
is
not
why,
using it, it
Yeah.
rolls to the next year,
Yeah.
and
So,
it's better than not having, when you're broke down, it's better to have some room.
yeah,
I agree.
agree.
is there a reason you don't collect steel and metals like AY Supply's doing?
We are,
Because that's where the money's at.
we do. But people, people brought it to AY Supply because they'd have to pay to drop it off before. So now that it's included, at least for city residents,
Mhm.
that excuse is no longer valid, so,
I thought their hours of operation are a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
drop stuff off at
24/7?
Yeah, and he,
But we did
Yeah, you
make,
can.
$520 for steel and tin last year. So, but, yeah, it's, I think, a lot more convenient for people to drop it whenever.
I drop it off at AY Supply. I get a pickup load every couple of months and,
Yeah.
because it's easy, I just take it there, drop it off and.
So just in a nutshell, we had, more income than expected, and we had fewer expenses than expected, so we're looking good.
okay,
Yay.
positive
Yeah.
first year.
Positive first year, so.
Don't give up on glass, I got a plan.
Oh.
So, yeah, Ann, let's hear from you. What do you, just
I
give
gotta
us your,
go, but,
give us
no,
like your
I'm-
thoughts
Can
on,
you forward that to me so I can share with Kyle tomorrow?
yep,
And then,
me too?
yep.
and-
Can I just, is it okay if I just copy you on the, link here? What's your email, Ann?
rudeann@gmail.com,
ANNE
A-N-E.
@gmail.com.
No,
And Corey?
I'm happy, but I have some ideas, and, the porta potty, $1,200. We can get a key into Beartooth Industries. The only people that use it are Kyle, I don't use it, never go in there, Kyle and the 3 guys.
$1,200, like, that's pretty reasonable for a toilet, like.
Okay, I'm just saying,
You're saying that's something that you would cut?
well, if we get a key so the boys can go into Beartooth Industries on Saturday. because on Wednesday they can go in
Are
there.
you just gonna hold it then?
I just don't like porta potties.
That's fair.
I mean,
But she does a great job.
I think there was an issue with using the bathroom there, but I can't remember what that
Well,
was.
then don't do it. But I've got
But-
another idea about glass for another time.
Okay,
Okay.
Don't give up on glass. I think a lot of people will be heartbroken.
I get it, I
Yeah.
get it, but is it practical? So,
Anyway, thank you all very much.
thank you for coming. And Corey, I have 2 emails for you. Corey Thompson and Corey Q.
Do that one, please.
Okay. Great.
There we go.
Everybody else, Mike, did I copy you on this? I think,
Yeah, I think I got it.
Red Rock Public Works, yep. Okay. All right, next for Dave.
Yes,
Next,
Public restroom?
Public restroom at Pride Park. We go
Public
there?
restroom at Pride Park. Yeah, that would probably be a Parks Board thing, budget-wise, but, I think you guys all saw that email. Oh, I'm gonna stop sharing, sorry.
Yeah, about toilet paper. Yeah, apparently the bathroom at Pride Park needed toilet paper. That's
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that. Not Pride Park, the Lions Park.
Lions
Park.
Park.
Oh, that was, Chris Mulaney,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Um,
But do you guys remember the email I sent you on
with the funky building?
toilets for the park? This is from
I don't think I saw that one.
Jody Ronning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we discussed it previously.
It's called Toilets for Park.
Mhm.
And, well, here, let me share my screen again.
there you go.
There.
Mhm.
As a business owner in the area, please,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
right? Yeah,
It
we legally can't let anybody use ours, the state won't let us.
It's funny because over the 4th of July, a couple other business owners and myself, we were texting just to see how busy everybody was doing and whatnot, and she's like, the majority of the traffic that has come in here has asked to use my restroom.
I'd be curious to see for July how much more water we use
Mhm.
Oh,
than in other times of year.
Well, I came in to
We
use,
were-
after the parade, I went in there because
Uh-huh.
I was dying, and that was the closest one. So thank
It
you.
was a little busy, wasn't it?
It was locked, I was like, did he lock these?
I don't know how many gallons we
I
flushed
think we pumped.
in the
I didn't-
$3
I didn't
per
flush.
parade.
Right. Yeah. It was,
yeah, I remember Eric saying it was up, but that was also like expected.
mhm.
It's dropped back down.
Yeah.
So this is what they look like. They're $5,800-ish.
Yeah.
And I think it would be really nice to have, you know,
Another location.
yeah. That's what they
Are those plugged in, or are they like a porta potty that get pumped out?
Private toilet stall, portable restroom.
used for site location.
Go
Oh,
down, go down to the actual.
Yeah.
Blackwater inlet and, so connected
Looks
to a
like
clean
it's
water
next to a
supply,
tank.
It looks like it's,
Oh, so they connect to something.
Blackwater
and then you can
pipe,
come pump them.
gray water pipe. Is
You
that,
need a
is
water
that
source.
practical?
You need a water source and you need a tank.
And you need
Or-
electricity, it looks
or
like.
Sewer
Yeah.
tap.
Well, the sewer runs through the alleys, so.
That's a nasty sewer to get down to.
Can't we just pump it into the river?
Storm drain.
Kidding.
Put it into a mine.
That made me laugh.
Christmas vacation.
Shitter's full.
Those are super cool.
Yeah, there was a,
Would
Jody
it
has
just be
found,
for summertime?
But wouldn't work in the winter.
Yeah, I was
No.
gonna say, that'd be freezing up.
no, and I think it's more or less like the events that, and the population that downtown Red Lodge gains during like summer, it was
Yeah.
something, and, I mean, Jody had played around with it to see if there were other business owners who would actually like, see if
Contribute.
businesses would contribute for it,
Well,
because.
this would be a perfect thing for resort tax, in my opinion.
Agreed, because like I said, I mean, everybody I know who has a business downtown, flat out
does not like it when people use the restrooms. Like, I have not heard one positive, oh, well, people use the restrooms all the time, everything's fine. No, never have I ever heard that. Like, it is, yeah, I don't know what's going on. But
Well, here's the question for the business owners, would you be willing to contribute $100 for the summer?
It's
Wouldn't even cover it,
I know,
like, even
so-
like a split.
right? Absolutely. But again, I have a feeling that, what, devil's advocate here, that
Yeah.
they will roll back with, why do
Why
we
should-
pay resort tax?
Yeah, I mean, why would business owners
Mm-hmm.
pay for that?
They don't have to pay for their own plumbing mishap.
Well, then,
But
should we
resort-
take this to the resort tax board?
Resort tax supposed to go
I think-
towards water and sewer and all that.
Sorry?
It's not for the business owners, is it?
What's that?
Where the resort tax gets spent was originally for like infrastructure projects,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
Not
Well,
necessarily,
That was-
no.
It can be dispersed. There's not real, I don't know how to put it. It's not pigeonholed into only,
There's things that you can and can't use it for,
Mhm.
and the 1% is specifically for the
Water.
stormwater. And the other 3% is for a lot of
The
other
original one-
things.
The original was for infrastructure.
Exactly.
The second one was modified to beyond that.
Mhm.
Yeah, for like parks and stuff. and-
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff added in.
Mhm.
Well, that's the review committee.
But I think that those would fit in the parks budget, and that parks budget comes from resort tax. The only thing I see with it is how we plumb them in.
Well, and that's what I was wondering, are they plumbed
The
in,
water's pretty easy,
or are they pumped?
the sewer, I mean, if you were on any other alley, is there another location maybe? But that alley to dig down to that sewer main and put a tap in.
Could it go somewhere else besides Pride Park then?
you
I know we
some-
were looking at,
That's a great location.
Right.
It is a great location.
This-
Could we
You know,
tie it
I don't know
into-
what's the, is that Grizzly Sport?
Yeah, could we tie it into Grizzly Peak?
I don't know, I mean, it'd be something that, they'd have to be receptive of it.
which would be the.
They have bathrooms in the basement there that I think it'd be pretty easy to plumb in.
And I don't know what their
Also, at least
sewer
they don't own
lines
the
look
food.
like, I mean, if their line's not the greatest, they probably don't wanna,
Right,
cause that's gonna get,
That's gonna get a lot of
that's,
use.
that's
Mhm.
gonna get constant use on busy days. There'll be a line out there. So, you know, those are some factors. If it was, you know, that's literally the worst place to try and dig down the sewer line there is, probably in this town. I think it's over 12 feet deep there, it's very narrow.
yeah, that was,
That's why we're gonna line.
well, and that
We
was
don't wanna
one of
dig
the
it
main
up.
reasons why does it have to be plumbed in? Because I thought the ones we looked at were similar to like just a souped up porta potty.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
And they probably have souped up porta potties that then somebody like Dawn or whoever could come by and service.
Yeah,
Honestly, what
Mike,
if
can
we
I
could-
send you this link and you could
Mhm.
look,
Yeah.
I haven't looked at any of this stuff, but,
You know, if there was, this sewer line over here is not as bad, this side of the street, it's better as you go down, but we got bathrooms that way.
what about in front of the Wells Fargo building, or the Bank of Red Lodge building?
there's
Yeah,
already,
there too.
If you're still running on the same sewer,
Mhm.
oh, the old.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not impossible, and we could look into it a little bit and pull the manholes there and check, 'cause it's not as bad as like, the reason we're lining that is we don't wanna do a dig and replace there, 'cause you couldn't, it's logistically
are you out of here?
a nightmare.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Talk soon.
Later. Okay,
We're
so,
just putting in a tap, it might be feasible to get a tap in there, we could just go to the top of the pipe, but we'll. figure
well, I
out.
think we probably have some time because, it's not gonna happen this summer,
Yeah.
I'm guessing, but it would sure be nice to have that for next summer.
I mean, even like one of the trailers, like, have you seen
You like the
those?
wedding trailers?
Yeah,
Or
like,
the
those are
event
really
trailers?
nice. And-
Right, and that's what I was
kinda what
thinking.
Yeah, that's more where my brain is for it, where then we can pull it in, pull it out, like even if we owned it, winterize it, have it Road and some
Cause
of the public
between,
works space.
That's pretty
between all the
big, though.
different, isn't it?
I think some of them can be, but again, depending on where we wanna put it.
You put it up right, I mean, if we did use Pride Park, we could put it right up against the building at Grizzly Peak.
So, back in the day, they used to close that street down.
The alley.
No, between, what is it? It used to be the drugstore, now it's that antique store, and the park, Pride Park.
Oh, really?
And that's where they used to have, so when I, right, remember they used to have the farmer's market? That's where they did the Festival of Nations dancing, that's where they did,
Closed permanently for the summer?
not permanently, but like,
For events.
for events, they'd always have that,
That spot.
just that section right there, always, like, yeah,
Isn't that where Babcock and Miles is now?
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe now
They
that,
don't like it closed.
I was gonna say, now that that's there, that's
We
probably,
did the car show there for a few years and it wasn't pretty.
no,
Yeah.
okay, so never mind then, that was, just, I just remember
They
that was,
built it. It's public right away.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's just that,
No, yeah, I get it. What about like next to the Carbon County Treasurer's Building, like just a block over? There's that big, empty, not so empty parking, storage unit, shipping container close to your,
Where,
where the dog wash used to be.
the old grocery store parking
the
lot.
grocery store parking lot, that was,
All right, so
that
hey,
was,
you want us to put some bathrooms in there?
well, no, because that was the food farm parking
Again,
lot.
we're dealing with exactly the same issue, it's the same sewer line.
Exactly, and the actual designated city public restrooms are in the Ace building right
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's right next to that, so, I mean, I really love that down, Main Street location,
Yeah.
Broadway location.
We looked into doing it
Um,
closer to like the Civic Center with the parking over
Yeah.
there. I can't remember what the concern was.
Convenience is the key.
Yeah.
People gotta be able to see it, and it's gotta be.
And they're just walking by, like, I gotta use.
Oh, there's the
toilet.
restroom.
Oh,
I
there it is
wonder
right
if there's
there.
a way to put it like where the fence was built for, except for Tom's not wanting to get rid of any of his parking over here.
Mm-mm.
Well, anyway, why don't we leave it as this is, Mike will take a look at the website,
Okay.
and
Feasibility of Pride Park.
we can put it back on
The agenda for January.
for January.
I mean,
I'll be gone by then.
realistically,
Okay,
we are,
and then, let's see what else we have here.
That's all right. We've got Public Works update, but he's got,
Stop sharing.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're about to run out of time.
we're out of time. We are out of time. It is 5:45.
Do you have anything quick you wanna tell us on Public Works? What's going on?
You're presenting
We're-
tonight?
We had a meeting with DOT on the stormwater side, we've been trying to work with DOT, cause there's 4 intersections on Broadway that currently have stormwater inlets that are tied to the sewer. And we've been having conversations trying to get them to, if we design the solution and we have Williams Brothers do it while they're here, if they pick up the tab. And we heard back from them this week, and the answer was no.
Okay.
So we're rethinking that one.
DOT will not pay.
A, we're not done with them. We're going to pursue if it's dead or mostly dead. And B, this is why we maintained our 1% stormwater. So in case we have to
We're
deal with,
gonna get them to them.
we're doing it. We're just not sure how it's, which
It's getting done,
version of,
not,
exactly.
Mike, at the next meeting, would you mind if there's any updates for Safe Schools program or
Yep.
sidewalk repair?
Sidewalk, had another contractor out today, he should have me another price by Friday, and then, we're gonna look at things and make some decisions, and hopefully figure out a way to make that happen.
I've softened up on the idea of businesses contributing to that.
What's that?
I said I've softened up on the idea of businesses
Well, I
contributing
think
to that.
that's gone by the wayside,
mm.
so,
Yeah. That's not gonna happen.
not gonna happen.
All right, it is 5:46.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Woo! We're gonna grab some food.
All right, I need a Zoom expert.
Why?
No, no.